Hi, I'm Sue Adams. My husband Mark and I are the farmers of the family. We grow millions of plants in our 5-acre greenhouse range. I'm passionate about container gardening, and I'm here today to show you how easy it is to make your own containers. There are 3 basic steps to container gardening. Number 1, choosing the right plants. Number 2, choosing the right container. And number 3, caring for your container. When you're choosing plants, you should be aware of the light that you'll need for your plants. If you have an area where you're planting where you get sun from 10 to 2, you'll choose plants for full sun. If you're planting on the east side of your house, you'll choose plants that can take part shade. If you're planting under trees, you'll look for plants for full shade. Now, if your planter doesn't do well where you choose, the beauty of container planting is you can move it. I've made it easy to choose your plants with the Easy Container Design 1, 2, 3 brochure, which you'll find throughout the Adams stores. Number 1 is your focal point for your container. It's tall, and this is going to catch people's eye when they look at your container. Next are the fillers or the mounding plants that fill out the container. And number 3 are the plants that will trail, that will spill over your container. Now it's time to choose our container. The bigger the better. I always recommend at least a 12-inch container. You won't have to water as often and your plants will do much better. Also look to make sure your container has a drainage hole. If it doesn't, you can always put stones on the bottom. Good drainage is important for healthy plants. I also recommend using a sterile potting mix. Garden soil comes with weeds, and you certainly don't want to weed your container. Also important for a healthy container is fertilizer. Plants are like people, we all need to eat. I always start with a slow-release fertilizer. Now comes the fun part. I've noticed that a lot of people are afraid to pick colors and put plants together. Take a look at nature. Nature's a whole mishmash of color. If you find 2 plants that you like together, go for it. It'll be fine. Some easy ways to plant are just to take 2 different colored plants and just alternate. And then you can use your focal point if you want, and that's a very simple container. One of the things that I like to do when I'm designing containers is I like to look at the center of a plant. In this case, the center has red and yellow. So what I might do is use this as a trailer, use this as a filler, which is a nice yellow, and combine it with red. And again, you can use your focal point here or here. And you can see, as you change the plants, you change your look. What you're going to do when you plant your container is you're going to start off with your focal, and in this case I'm going to use a spike plant, and I'm going to put it in the back of the container. Next, you might want to use a plant like fennel for texture. That I'll put next. And in this planter, I'm going to use a lot of yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. This is your filler. This is lantana. Lantana will attract butterflies, and it's deer resistant, which is also really nice. This is bidden. Biddens will work its way through your container. I think purple goes really great with yellow. So for our trailer, we're going to have a Super Petunia. Now, wasn't that simple? Watering is really important, so I recommend using the finger test. Take your finger, put it in your container. If it's dry, you water. If it's wet, you don't. Fertilizer is also really important for a container. We started out with Osmocote, which is a slow-release fertilizer, but you'll want to use a liquid fertilizer throughout the season. Planting containers is fun. You're only limited by your imagination. You can do herb containers, and my recommendation for herb containers is plant what you're going to use. You can also take an herb and add it to your flower container. You can end up with gorgeous containers like these. My rules for container gardening are, number 1, have fun. Number 2, Enjoy your containers. And number 3, take pictures. For Adams Fairacre Farms, I'm Sue Adams.